Monday. I'm sorry, I could not, for the love of me, get the stream to load. I don't know why it just wouldn't connect to my Twitch or my Facebook, but I can and will be putting out a post here on the handy dandy cellular device. But anyways, here we are. Like I said, good evening, and today it's May 3rd. Okay, football's right around the corner, and I don't think I could be any more excited, especially after this draft. Like I said, what was it, last Friday? That draft, the first round, boring. Okay, Thursday's first round was kind of boring to me, anyways. You kind of already knew who was going and when they were going, kind of. So like what place, anyways, that was. So, it's really kind of interesting when you think about it that, all these young kids, there's only 1% of kids in college football that actually make it to the professional leagues. And, that's insane to think about, because there's a lot of kids who go out from a young age and play football and think, hey, I am going to be the next guy, the next one, the big guy. But it's not always the case, okay? Dreams are always crushed, and a lot of the time I think kids know that this is not, their thing, what they have to do. This is not what they do, okay? So, but like the last 2 days, that Friday, Saturday of the draft went real well. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna get this so people know to go on YouTube. There we go. But anyways, like I said, it's May 3rd, new day. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. But, hey, started the morning off really, really well. Got in the gym, lifted. Not going to lie, after a couple months, going to feel sore in the morning. Not really too warmed up. I took it a little easy so I wouldn't feel it too much. But I can tell, especially after throwing a football about an hour and a half ago, it's going to be a rough one. But, hey, that's what it's about. That's what life's about. Getting better, improving yourself, and being the better you. But today, like I said, we got a lot to go through. We're gonna talk about some more draft stuff, probably covering about rounds 2 through 5. I think. Yeah, we got 5, and then after that, we're gonna do a little bit of some other news that's happening around the NFL. So, are you ready to get your fix? Well, we're gonna kind of go over that round 2. NFL draft. Now, this one was a good round, okay, compared to that first round. This one kind of had a lot of eye-openers, at least to me, anyways. And the guy I'd like to start with, actually, his dad is a Hall of Famer, I believe. Phenomenal player, ex-player in the NFL. He played with the Eagles, the Patriots, and I can't remember if there was another team at the time. But Asante Samuel Jr., okay, he got drafted in round 2. Some people had him dropping, I think, round 3, maybe like early 4. But I honestly thought this guy was going to go round 1 or round 2. This guy is very, very good. Now, the Chargers actually, in round 2, they had about I think it was the 15th pick, yeah, and it was about the 47th total pick in the NFL draft. But the Chargers took him. He played from Florida State. The dude's 5'10", 184 pounds, absolute monster, if you ask me. I watched his highlights a little bit yesterday and some today, and one thing that really, really kind of stood out to me is his ball awareness. This guy knows exactly where the ball is and kind of like where to run to. He always knows exactly where that ball is, regardless of where he is on the field. He could be completely on the other side, and all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and he probably bats it down, or he picks it off, or he makes a play, he tackles it, he does something. He really, honestly, 100% reminds me of his dad, which, I mean, that's a no-brainer. The kid learned from him. It was his son, obviously. So that ability to play at such a high level, when you have those genetics, when you have, not necessarily just like your dad or like a family member that's been in there, or just somebody that even that was in the NFL. If you have that, you're going to be just fine. You're going to make a lot of plays in the NFL. You're going to be very, very solid. But like I said, Okay, 5'10", 184 pounds. Okay, people would say that's probably not too big, especially for a corner. Now, I think the 184 pounds, that's perfect. That way he can be more probably light on his feet, be a lot faster going out there. At 5'10", the guy, probably can't jump the highest, but hey, it doesn't matter. You get a spurt of adrenaline and all that stuff, and you just go straight up. You can get that ball. You can do whatever you put your mind to, and that's the thing. Nothing is impossible, and that's what these kids that actually got to the NFL and were drafted, or even the undrafted free agents. Okay, that's what these kids had. They knew that they had to work harder than everybody else every single day. Okay, I mean Asante Samuel Jr. Okay, now in his time at Florida State, he had about 93 tackles. That was total tackles. I really don't know the solo and assists because I don't think that really matters. I think if you're just involved in that tackle, you should be awarded a tackle. And now, granted, you have to give those subcategories, who was the main guy there, stuff like that. But 93 tackles, 29 pass deflections. He even forced a fumble, and he had 4 interceptions. Now, those 4 interceptions, 3 of them were last year, granted, but I mean, that's mainly because that's where he got a lot of his playing time. The year before that, 2 years ago, he got a decent amount, but didn't really, bring that NFL mindset, that NFL attitude like you've seen, or like I even seen last year. Okay, this guy came in with, let me tell you, he came in here with some nuts, got the job done, did what he needed to do, and that's why he got drafted in the second round. That's why he got, halfway through the second round and was picked. This guy's going to get paid a lot. Okay, it does matter where you get drafted because you make money from that. So, now, another thing that I noticed about Asante Samuel Jr. compared to 2 years ago, last year he had really, I'm talking awesome hands. This guy was able to go up, get the ball, pick it off. I mean, his hands were like glue. Now, he only had 3, okay, but that's a lot, okay? And every time the ball was thrown his way, he was able to go up and at least get one hand on the ball or at least make that wide receiver really uncomfortable. And a lot of that has to do with the size of his motor. Okay, this guy has a huge motor. I'm talking, he goes out there and he hits you, and he hits you hard. Okay, he's not going out there to play patty cake. He's going out there to kill. I mean, like, not literally, but he's going out there to rip your head off pretty much. And that to me is the main reason why he was able to get drafted so high. That motor, having that big of a motor, and I'm sure his dad pushed that on him, hey, you got to work a lot harder. That is the main reason probably that he was drafted so high, okay? Now, with the drafters taking him, this actually helps them out tremendously, okay? They're short at least one corner. I think they might be short 2, but I know for sure one. With Desmond King, he actually left. He was a free agent. He signed with the Texans, which... good for him, but at the same time, the Chargers needed that piece. Desmond King honestly was a really good man-to-man and zone coverage corner. He was a solid piece of that defense. But I think Asante Samuel Jr. is going to be able to come in here and be just fine, play exactly the way Desmond did, or even a little better, which, in all honesty, is a real possibility. Okay, I mean, the dude knows what he needs to do. All you need, he has the fundamentals. Everybody that goes to the NFL, you have fundamentals, obviously. You know how to play the game. Okay, the Chargers out a lot, whether that's being in the slot corner, whether that's playing on one of the best receivers or in the other outside corner, or even moving him to being a nickel corner or a safety. Okay, this guy can play every defensive back position, every one of them, and be just fine. I think he's going to excel and he's going to be really good for the Chargers. Him, Derwin James, I can't remember the other, Casey Hayward. I think I can't really remember on that one. I can check, but. The Chargers are going to have a good defense. They're going to be just fine. Now, how they perform this upcoming season is solely on probably coaching, because I think they have the right guys. Now they just got to put the pieces together and, go from there. And I really think they can. I think they can excel, especially with Justin Herbert back there for his second year after having a Rookie of the Year performance last year. Okay, so Chargers are in good hands. This is a very, very good draft pick for the Chargers. Kind of surprised that he didn't go sooner to some people that actually needed corners. Caleb Farley, I think, went in the first round. Patrick Surtain, obviously those are high caliber. But there's a couple I was like, are you sure? I don't know. I feel like J.C. Horn, I believe, was one of them that won the first round. And nothing against J.C. Horn. I watched this film. He's really good as well. But I think Asante Samuel, I mean, we've seen it with Antoine Winfield last year, Antoine Winfield Jr. His dad was an NFL corner, a really good one, in fact. So, and he played awesome. The guy won a Super Bowl. Now, it wasn't all his doing, but he helped a lot. Made a lot of good defensive plays during that Super Bowl. And so I think that's going to translate as well for Asante Samuel Jr. And if it doesn't, hey, well, I'm sorry, but I'm fucking wrong, okay? That's how it is, and that's how we got to live life. So, but yeah, Chargers did really, really well in here. Now, the next guy I kind of want to go and talk about now is, well, yeah, Rondale Moore, wide receiver from Purdue. Now, this guy, small, fast, explosive, gets the job done, okay? Like a lot of these kids. They do. They go out there, they get, obviously, NFL. Like, I've always said that, and I've been saying that. So, but the Cardinals ended up taking him, okay? Now, I don't know if it's just me or if you guys feel the same, but like, does it feel like the Cardinals are kind of making that Super Bowl push this year? Because, I mean, the addition of J.J. Watt this offseason, they brought in, who's that running back? They brought in a running back to help out with Kenny and Drake, I think last weekend or something like that. But then they also, I mean, at wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, they got him last year from a trade for David Johnson. Okay, then they got Christian Kirk a couple years ago in the draft, who, by the way, is awesome. Okay, he's a really, really good wide receiver. I think he's a lot like Calvin Ridley, even though Calvin Ridley had to perform a lot better, being that Julio Jones was kind of out of the mix for that Atlanta Falcons last year. But now you add Rondale Moore to the mix. That offense is going to go nuts. Okay, like, if you think about it, now I'm pretty sure Rondale Moore, I think 4.3 something, or 4.2, 4 something crazy, super fast, very fast receiver, okay? When I was watching this film, I honestly got a little bit of a feeling of a Tyreek Hill. Like, I was watching Tyreek Hill out there. However, one thing that really kind of stood out to me about Rondale Moore is his ability to break tackles. Okay, he has very, very, very strong legs. The dude sits at 5'9", 180 pounds. Okay, not a tall receiver, but a big receiver, like a thick one. Okay, he's going to be able to go out there and catch a lot of passes. Now, I think he's going to be in the slot mainly, and they might move him out wide depending on his footwork, his speed, if he can blow by corners and do those things, catch the ball, be consistent. But definitely a Tyreek type of receiver, a Tyreek Hill type of receiver. But I think he's way more shifty than Tyreek. I think Tyreek's more of a uphill runner or a downhill runner, just kind of straight. Now, Tyreek can obviously get it done and be super shifty, but I think just watching the film on Rondale Moore, I think he's a lot more shifty. Okay, this guy is, in a blink of an eye, he's dodging, he's going one way, he's going the next. He's just out there performing daily, like consistently too, and that's another thing. Now, he did decide to opt out last year, but I think he did come back in as soon as the season started to come back, because I think they got to play, I want to say 6 to 8 games, somewhere around there. But the dude did fairly well, okay, in college. 178 receptions, 1,915 yards, 14 touchdowns. Okay, this guy can get it done, okay, in the receiving and in the running game. I mean, 30 attempts, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns rushing. This guy goes out there day in, day out, does his job, comes home, sleeps, eats, does whatever he needs to do, and goes out there and, fucks shit up. And that's all you can ask for in a receiver. And to be that small and to be the number one guy on your team is even more incredible. And then I think the Cardinals really did a really good job, especially with Larry Fitzgerald. Probably more than likely not going to be a Cardinal next year. Probably going to be a free agent for a little bit, unless like the Ravens want to go and take him, so they give him to old Lamar up here, have a trusty steed, even though they tried that with Dez Bryant, or Green Bay. Even though we're going to talk about them here in a little bit, they need a wide receiver. They might need, probably not a little bit too much now, but they could, depending on the production in preseason and a couple games in the season. You never know. There's a lot of teams out there that could take Larry Fitzgerald, and it wouldn't surprise me if he goes, but Rondale Moore is perfect. A perfect fit. You got your tall, go get it, I'm not going to drop anything, DeAndre Hopkins. Then you got your Christian Kirk, I'm consistent, I can go out there, do these, medium to deep routes and get us a good chunk of yards. And you got Rondale Moore. I'm just going to go out there, and I'm going to run right by you, and then I'm going to break your legs, and then I'm going to score. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of this year. Kyler Murray, I'm pretty sure in the draft, the GM said Kyler wanted him very, very badly and told him, we need this guy, go get him, because, we need another weapon. We can't just have those two guys. And because only one can end up going off, the other one's just being a bum that game. So, very, very good pickup here from the Cardinals. Another thing about him is his ball carrier vision. Can't fucking talk, my bad. But it's really next level. Okay, this dude, he grabs the ball, and kind of as soon as he gets the ball, he looks upfield. Okay, where am I going? And boom. But he's doing that as he's moving, and it's just like a split second. He knows where he's going, and he's going to do it. And if he gets tackled, he gets tackled. But more than likely, you're going to get about 8 to 15 yards if he gets the ball in his hand. And that's exactly what the Cardinals need. The Cardinals are going to make a push this year. Okay, they have the Rams with Matthew Stafford now. They have Seattle, who we thought all of us thought Russell Wilson was going to awesome, pick up and pack his bags, but that didn't happen. And then they got the Niners, who picked up Trey Lance. So you never know. That's going to be a really good division. It always is. It's one of the tougher ones in the NFL, if not the toughest. So I think Rondale Moore is going to have a fairly good season, not a great season, but he's going to be in the mix quite a bit. So be ready kind of for that to happen and all that stuff. So now we're going to go over again to another wide receiver that I also think is very good. Now this second round was packed with wide receivers. Last year it was the first round. Okay, the first round this year was, we got quarterbacks. We got Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Kyle Trask. I think he went second round. But you got all these guys that were quarterbacks going in the first round, but I got wide receivers in the second round where teams just kind of need to fill in the blanks and see, hey, do we need to upgrade this? And a lot of teams did. Eagles especially. Now, they really didn't do themselves too much help, but they did do really, really, really good in getting Devonta Smith, which I think he's going to have a breakout year. Well, I wouldn't say breakout. I'd say a solid year, just like Rondale Moore. I think the Eagles they have a little, there's a little trouble going on there. They're going to have a new head coach, new system. Now, that might be good for Devonta Smith because then he doesn't have to come in and, he's going to come in anyways and be fresh. He's not going to know a damn thing. So you're going to put him out there. It doesn't matter. He's going to be just fine. A lot of the other people might be, frazzled. Wait, we didn't do this last year. Like, wait, I ran that route? I was supposed to run? Oh. So it's going to be, I think Devonta Smith is going to be that guy, okay? Watch for Jalen Reagor as well in that situation, or in that system. Probably succeed. I wouldn't say do very good. I think Devonta Smith is going to end up being that number one receiver, that number one target for Jalen Hurts, but only time's going to tell. But anyways, we're going to go actually not to the Eagles. We're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers, who held the 27th pick in the second round, and they actually took Terrace Marshall, okay, wide receiver from LSU. Obviously, somebody they needed, even though they have, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and, high caliber guys like that. Now, what Terrace Marshall does is he brings a big presence. Okay, this guy's gonna go out there. He's gonna make plays. He's tall. He's not gonna be afraid to rip it from your hands. He's not gonna be afraid to take hits. Really one thing. This dude has a big frame. Okay, 6'4", 200 pounds, 106 receptions, had 1,500 yards receiving, had 23 touchdowns in his time at LSU. This guy is the type of receiver that everybody, I'm talking everybody, wants to be. This is a perfect build, a perfect frame. Watching film, this guy goes out there, does his routes, and it does not matter, okay? 2v2, or 1v2, or 1v1, it does not matter. Across the middle, 1v3, he will catch the ball. Defenders do not bother him. His one job and his one job only, and he knows it, is to catch that fucking ball. And that's what he does. Okay? I mean, now, he's not the quickest he is, but he still gets the job done. He's more of a medium to deep route runner, like a Christian Kirk, but he's a little bigger, and I think he can eventually develop into that bigger or that faster, more precise route running kind of receiver. So, I mean, he is very, very solid, okay, when it comes to fundamentals. His feet and his body, he knows exactly where he is at all times. He makes sure that when he catches the ball, his feet are in, two toes. He had to do a couple little one steps inside, but mainly it was getting those 2 feet, being ready for the NFL, because you can catch it with 1 foot in, but in the NFL, that's out of bounds. That's incomplete. So, and I think that's going to help his game a lot, because he's already done that. He's already doing that. He's top notch. He trusts his instincts, okay? He knows what to do, and that's a big thing. If you trust your instincts, you're going to catch that ball. I mean, probably one guy that you could kind of look at that trusts his instinct a lot was probably T.O. Or Chad Johnson. They're just going to go, they're going to make a play, and if they don't, hey, so be it. Throw me again. Throw me that ball one more time. I swear to God, I'll fucking catch that ball. That is this guy, Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall Jr. can go out there, get the ball, or get it done. Very, very good. Okay, this is, like I said, I noted earlier, great addition to Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, because those guys are going to be the main ones. Okay, but with Terrace Marshall coming in there, he's going to add that physical factor, that Steve Smith type. I'm gonna be a dog. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna eat your lunch. So Carolina did awesome. Okay, they knew what they needed to do, and they went out and did it. So hey, that's all you can ask for. Now we're gonna kind of switch gears. We're gonna go over to the Chiefs. Okay, these guys have been in the Super Bowl the last 2 seasons, been close. The last 3, I want to say. I can't really remember. I think they lost the first or second round 3 years ago with Alex Smith. But now this offseason, the Chiefs had one problem. Okay, no offensive linemen really stayed. Okay, a lot of them had to go, and that was a lot due to the money, the type of money they had. And with that, it kind of sucked. They knew that sucked, but they went out. Somehow they signed Kyle Long, Joe Thuney from the Patriots, who was very, very good. And they got Laurent Duvernay-Tardif back. He left last year with COVID to be a doctor in Canada and help out the pandemic, which is awesome. I did a show on him last year, thanking him for everything he's doing, because I know that was a tough decision for him to make, but in the end, he's back, he's still healthy, he's playing, and really that's all you can ask for. Now, they go in with the second round, okay? They have the 31st pick, obviously, because, being that it is they went to the Super Bowl, okay? Can't fucking think. I don't know why. No, I'm just kidding. I can think pretty good, but sometimes I just got some brain farts and, frustrates me. But anyways, they had the 31st pick because of that Super Bowl loss, and they went out in the second round and took a center, another offensive lineman to help with their troubles, with the departures of, a lot of good players. Okay, they went and got Creed Humphrey. Okay, he played for the Oklahoma Sooners. You guys probably don't know too much about him. I don't know a heck of a lot just besides watching film, and I'm not too much of a film guru, but I'll watch a good couple minutes to kind of see what you're all about, because I think even in the NFL, like, you watch a lot of those guys, they say, if a guy's going to be, good within the first 5-10 minutes in practice. So just by watching a couple minutes, of film, that's kind of how I base my opinion right now, because I don't know anything about these guys. Okay, all I know is what I've seen, and the little bit I've seen, I can make an assumption. I can't give you guys, the truth, because they haven't played in the NFL. They have not one catch, not one reception, nothing. They have nothing. So, like I said, this guy, Creed Humphrey, okay, actually a very, very good pick for the Chiefs. This guy, he's very, very strong. He's kind of a slimmer build. He's not too big. He's kind of a bodybuilder type body, if you were to think about it, I guess, in that way. Just kind of a Jason Kelsey. That'd be a good, probably a little smaller than Jason Kelsey. But this dude is strong, okay? I'm telling you, very, very strong. And his fundamentals out of everybody so far today that we're going through, he, by far, has the best fundamentals. By far. This dude goes in there and literally pushes dudes out of the way. He'll go up there and he'll push you to the side that you can't, so the hole's wide open. He puts you back to the hole. He makes sure that a play can get at least 3 to 5 yards at least, because 3 to 5 yards you're looking at a first down mainly. Okay, about 3.5 you're gonna get a first down. So, I mean, he's very, very, very good. I don't know, like I said, I don't know a shit ton about this guy, but what I do know is he's going to probably get a lot of playing time, and whether that's at the center, guard, tackle, I don't know, but wherever it is, he's going to excel and he's going to be just fine, and he's going to put on a clinic. He's going to help the Chiefs a lot, protect Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to learn from a veteran, Kyle Long, who came out of retirement. Then he's going to learn from veteran, Joe Thuney, who's been doing it well. I'm just kidding. Doing it well, obviously. Joe Thuney has been at the top of, I'd say, the offensive line in the whole NFL. He's probably one of the top guys you're going to want on your team if you're talking. We're going to kind of go into that round 3 now. The round 3 was also a little exciting. Okay, this is where my hometown Minnesota Vikings over here actually did something for once. It seemed like, because in the past, it didn't really seem like they did a lot. To be honest, I mean, obviously there's a couple draft picks that you see here and there, like Randy Moss, Adrian Peterson, Sharif Floyd. The list goes on. Okay, but then you got those draft picks, Christian Ponder. Okay, CP7. That was rough. Those were some rough years. And then last year started turning the tide. Okay, we went in there, got Justin Jefferson, damn near only 500 some yards away from the all-time receiving record in a season. Broke the rookie receiving record, broke the rookie reception record. The kid was insane. Okay, so I was like, all right, the Vikings did that last year. Now let's go make some moves. Let's go get the guys, we need. Let's go get them. And that's what they did in this third round. That's exactly what they did. They got they traded their 14th pick, if you remember, in the first round to trade back, and they got the 23rd pick, in the first round, and the second pick here in the third round from the Jets. Now this second pick is, I'm glad they did it, because if you don't know, a lot of stories have come out that the Vikings were looking to trade up to try to get Justin Fields, who actually went to the Bears. Don't know if that's 100% true. Yeah, I mean, you can't believe everything that is on the internet, but if we did, wow, that would have been crazy. Okay. But instead, they knew they couldn't do that, and they come here in the third round, second pick. Okay. They take Kellen Mond, quarterback from Texas A&M. Now, I wasn't so sure about this guy. I knew he was fine. I knew he could get it done. But at the same time, I also think, it was a good pick, okay? It was a very good pick for the Vikings, because I don't think quite yet he's at that starting caliber. But I do think he can get there. And whether that's this year, halfway through this year, next year, I don't know. I don't care. I know he can get there. This guy, really just fast. This guy is actually a lot different from Kirk Cousins. And this happened to Kirk Cousins here in Washington. Me and my friend were talking about this. I can't remember who I was talking with. But you've seen Kirk Cousins in Washington, okay? Doing what he's doing in Minnesota, being very consistent, getting the same stats year in and year out, can't win against playoff teams, can't win primetime games, but he wins you games. Not because of him, no, just with him, okay? And Washington goes out. First round takes Robert Griffin III. Well, Kirk Cousins gets a little pissed. He wants out, and bam, he comes to Minnesota after, what was it, a year or two, or a year after or sitting on the bench, and RG3 kind of lit it up a little bit. But Kirk did not take that lightly. Okay, Kirk did not like that at all. And what I'm kind of feeling is, how is he going to take, this draft pick? You're going to hear all the things. Oh yeah, Kirk's just fine with this. Kirk's, happy, blah blah. And we heard that about Aaron Rodgers. Oh no, Aaron's just fine with this pick, with his Jordan Love pick. No, he's all good, having fun games, smiling, having a great year. No, I'm telling you right now, Aaron Rodgers was not fucking happy at all. Fucking absolutely heated. Okay, from what I hear, he grabbed a bottle of tequila or whiskey and just started pouring it down. Okay, he started drinking a little bit. To be a guy like that and then to have your job threatened, it sucks. Okay, so how is Kirk going to respond to this? Because Kellen Mond is something the Vikings need. Somebody can get outside the damn pocket and throw the fucking ball away. Because I know, for me, I'm getting sick and tired of this guy rolling out and keeping the ball, getting sacked, losing 10, 15 yards a time, or fumbling the goddamn ball, throwing a pass he shouldn't so it gets picked. We don't need that. If a play's not open, throw the ball out of bounds, go down, do something. I don't care what you have to do, just do it. I'm so sick of that. And I think Kirk knows that. He knows we got to get that ball out. Okay? This pick is a threat. Okay, this is a big, big threat to Kirk Cousins. Because Kellen Mond can run. Okay, he can scramble outside that pocket. He can make things happen with his feet and with his arms. I don't know if you've seen it, but after Zach Wilson rolled out, threw on his feet on the run, and did that, well, they had all the quarterbacks do that. And Kellen Mond did just fine. So, he might not have the arm strength or anything, but that comes with time. You can work on that. But Kellen Mond gets that ball where it needs to be and makes plays. Okay? This dude, 6'2", 216, tall, big, fast. It's going to be tough to put him on his butt. Really, really tough. Okay, he went 59% completion percentage, 9,661 yards. A lot of these stats came from his last 2 seasons because that's where he really excelled. But 71 total touchdowns, 27 interceptions. Okay, and then he also had a little over 1,600 rushing yards on a lot of carries. But still, this dude, he gets it done. He can go out there, run. Like I said, he scrambles, and I think that's what the Vikings need. And like I said last year, this game is going to a mobile quarterback game. Now, you do have those pocket passers, like Mr. Seven Rings right behind me. Or, I'd say you could consider Patrick Mahomes a little bit of a pocket passer, but he's shown that he can get outside the pocket and do stuff with his feet. So, hey, I don't know. I think Kellen Mond's a really, really good pickup for the Vikings, whether, Kirk goes down and gets hurt and we have to have Kellen come in, or, halfway through the season it's time for a switch, or even next year. But I think this is a very good pick, and I know a lot of people don't like Kirk and they say get rid of him, but you can't get rid of him because we just signed him to a 2-year fully guaranteed extension that if we got rid of him, that's a lot of dead cap that we're still going to have to pay, and it's literally just a waste of money. Okay, it's like buying a brand new 55-inch flat screen TV and throwing it out the door. You still bought it. You still wasted your money that you're not going to use it, or you're not going to use it anymore. So that's another reason we had to keep Kirk. But I think this was a good pickup, especially for in the future, because, hey, having backups like Sean Mannion, not good. And this, I trust this. I trust this a lot, and I'm very happy that Rick Spielman did this and Mike Zimmer agreed. Another pick that they took was Chaz Surratt. Okay, this guy played quarterback, transferred to linebacker, and there's a reason for it. Okay, I'm pretty sure in just 2 years, 2 years, about 3 was his 3 years ago wasn't that he wasn't that prominent of a figure, but about these last 2 years he was. He had 207 tackles, 6 pass deflections, 12.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. What else can he ask? Played for North Carolina. Doesn't play. He plays high caliber football, but he doesn't play against higher caliber teams. Okay, like in Alabama or something like that. So with those stats, I think he honestly could. very easily could do that. And, I think that's going to help a lot with the departure of Eric Wilson to the Eagles. And he's going to fill in those shoes, I think, just nice. I don't think he's going to start right away. Now, if he does, awesome, but expect a couple, fuck-ups along the way. I mean, Jeff Gladney, Cam Dancer, they did all right, but they fucked up a lot. Let those receivers pass them. I mean, that's one of those things that comes with being a rookie, with drafting rookies. You're going to have mistakes. You're going to make stupid decisions. But, that's when the fans, they get a little too pissed, a little too easy, and they start giving up way too fast. And we just can't do that. As fans, we cannot do that. You got to sit back, relax, because year one, most likely, about 90% of these guys are not going to excel. Okay, it's going to take 2-3 years. And if you're a true NFL fan and you don't think that, and you think that right away, round one or year one, that they should be stellar, you're not a fan. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth. You know damn well, if you've watched football for years and years, that yeah, there's those couple guys in year one that explode. Justin Jefferson, Justin Herbert, Antoine Winfield Jr., but there's also guys that don't do shit. Jalen Reagor. Jeff Gladney really didn't do much. Okay? So you gotta, humble yourself a little bit, come down, kind of chill, relax, just watch them, see how they're improving. Don't worry about how bad they're doing or what bad plays they do. Are they improving from game to game? Are they getting better? Are they, critiquing themselves? That's what you gotta watch. That's the game of football. Okay, you gotta make sure they're rolling with the team. They're a good chemistry fit. They can get the job done. And that's what the Vikings did. Okay, the next two picks went guard Wyatt Davis. We needed that. We have no fucking offensive lineman. Kirk Cousins running back there with his head cut off. I just the dude. I understand why he couldn't throw the ball off a lot of the time, but if you looked, he had so much fucking time to throw that ball. Get it away. I don't care. You had so much time because you were scrambling enough to where you could throw that. Now, granted, there was those times that it was too fast, but Wyatt Davis, awesome. 6'4", 315 pounds. That's all I gotta say. Dude's a monster. Dude's gonna be able to help. Whether that's year one, year two, who knows? Offensive linemen are the hardest thing to kind of have that chemistry and build that chemistry. But then they go, help our defensive end too. They got Patrick Jones II, 6'4", 258 pounds, 21 and a half sacks in his last 2 years at Pittsburgh. If you ask me, him and Danielle Hunter, if this guy starts, which you never know, but he could, I think him and Danielle Hunter are going to be scary because I think Danielle can transfer his game to him, and I think they're going to excel that way. So, we'll see. Jones kind of really reminds me when I was watching this film of Jadeveon Clowney, which is scary to say because Clowney's been riddled with injuries, but I don't think this is the case. I think this guy, there's no stop to his game. He has a very, very high motor. He flies the ball. He goes until that whistle is blown. He does not stop. He's in every place. Very quick, very shifty, able to take a defender, throw him off, get off that block, and make a play. Okay? He has very, very good moves at the line because of how strong and how small and shifty he is, even though he's that big. This dude can go out there and get the job done, and he does. So I'm happy the Vikings did that, taking 4 picks right there, and solid ones at that. So very, very good draft. I seen on, I think, CBS or something like that, or NFL, that the Vikings were graded an A in this year's draft, which I'm pretty sure last year was a B+, I want to say. Or, yeah, I think it was a B+, or it was in the B range, but still, really good improvement. Vikings really, really did me right this time, and awesome. Hopefully it pans out, but I'm not going to say anything more than that because Lord knows we'll go to the NFC Championship game, blow it again, and I don't want that again. So if we're going, we better fucking go. I'm so sick of it. And I know a lot of Minnesota fans are, but hey, who knows? But, kind of shifting gears off the Minnesota Vikings, we got the Houston Texans, okay? They got a really, really big problem at their quarterback spot. Deshaun Watson does not want to fucking play there no more, obviously. Will Fuller's out of there. J.J. Watt left. There's literally nobody. Absolutely nobody there for Deshaun Watson. Who's he going to throw the ball to? Randall Cobb all day? No. Not every goddamn time. I'm telling you right now. They have no fucking weapons. No running back. David Johnson and Duke Johnson. Well, I think Duke Johnson went somewhere else finally. But still, like, what the hell? But you know what they do? Instead of trading him, they're like, we're going to keep him because there's all those allegations out there, which I'm not going to bring that up because I have no idea what's going on with that. I haven't heard anything in a while, but, I mean, you know what they do? 3rd round, okay, pick 3. They take a quarterback. Yeah, they do. Davis Mills, do you guys know who that is? Because I sure as hell don't. I didn't anyways, now I do. But he played for Stanford, so he has to be, somewhat smart, and I bet you that's why they took him, because he knows he can learn under Deshaun Watson for a year. If we have to get rid of... No. 6'3", 225 pounds, big guy, big frame, quarterback type, okay? Did better than Kellen Mond, I'd say, in completion percentage was 65.5%. But he can't really run, okay? This guy, I mean, he can run. He's kind of, in my eyes, when I was watching him, he looked a lot like Aaron Rodgers running the ball. He's going to get you those quick yards. He's really aware of his surroundings. But I think that's a lot of that was due to Stanford having such a decent line that was able to kind of make a bubble around him so that if it did split open, he was able to run right up the middle and get the job done. So really, really good thing for him. But, I mean, one thing that is kind of troublesome is he might be very, very easy to read in the NFL. Okay, this dude, when I was watching, every time he did a play action or every time he dropped back, he looked one spot. Every time. And every time he looked in that one spot, that's where he threw Anthony Harris, Derwin James, whole lot of these guys are going to read you and going to make your career a nightmare. Why the Texans decided this was a good idea, I have no idea. But I think they did it just so they have a backup just in case. Deshaun's like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to relax a little bit. We're going to take a little breather. But I'm not sold on Davis Mills. There's only 2 quarterbacks taken after him, and those 2 weren't any better, so they had no options really. But there's free agents. There's people out there that you could have got. I mean, hell, you can go trade for Nick Foles if you want. Bears have Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, and now Justin Fields. They're going to have to get rid of one of them. Okay, they just signed Nick Foles to a 3-year contract last year, so he has 2 years left. He's going to have to go because they just brought in Andy Dalton. I don't think, unless they have Andy Dalton and Nick Foles take the snaps and then just merge Justin Fields in, but I don't think, there's no way you trade up to get a quarterback of that caliber and not expect him to start either year 1 or year 2 or have him be that number 2 guy. So they're going to have to get rid of one. At least that's my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen. Who knows? Okay, it's the NFL. It's a business. That's why it's probably going to happen. But enough on Davis Mills, because the reason I want to talk about that is because they have a shitty situation there in Houston, and I don't know if it's going to get better. I think they're going to be a really, really bad team. I think the only way they are going to be fine is because of Deshaun Watson. If they don't have Deshaun Watson play at all, I guarantee you they are probably as worse or more worse than the Jets will be. And that's just my opinion, because they don't have nothing, okay? New coach, they have to learn everything new. No stars besides one. So they're in trouble, okay? But we're going to go over to the not the Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, who decided to make a move, finally. Now, it's probably not a move that's going to help too much, but they ended up drafting Clemson receiver Amari Rodgers in round 3, okay, with the pick 22, or technically the 85th pick of the draft. Now, this guy's 5'8", 209 pounds, had 181 receptions, about 2,144 yards, 15 touchdowns. I mean, very good. Okay, he's a solid receiver. Now, Clemson did have a lot of stars to throw, obviously being a top 10, 5 team every single year, especially with Trevor Lawrence there. But one thing I noticed is he watches the ball all the way into his hands, and that's special. You don't see that too much in the NFL, but he watches it all the way in, and that's going to help him incredibly, okay, when he goes and plays. Now, whether that's good or great, who knows? But I think that's going to be good. Because another thing that he watches the ball all the way in, but he's not afraid to take those risks, okay? He goes out there, and if he is covered by two guys, he's not afraid to catch that ball at all. He goes there, and when I was watching, I think there was one guy behind him kind of trailing, and there was two linebackers coming. The guy's running across the middle. He watched the ball all the way in his hands right in front of the end zone, and still was able to, like, lunge forward into there as taking 3 hits at one time. Okay, he watched the ball in, takes risks, and it helps him. Helps him a lot. Now, he was utilized in the screen game a lot, so I'm wondering if that's what Green Bay is probably going to try to use him as, or if they're just going to convert him to their number 2 receiver, but it's hard to tell. You never know what Matt LaFleur has planned, but this Amari Rodgers pick is a steal, obviously. Round 3, very good receiver, very consistent, but if you use him in the screen game, you're going to get at least 5 to 10 yards. From what I've seen, he's always catching the ball, watching his defenders, following his defenders. I think he'd be a very, very good kick punt returner if he doesn't end up making that starting receiving spot or, one of the top 3. But he can be utilized as well in that deep ball game. And with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, obviously, that would help a lot. I mean, he's going to get you guaranteed yards. If you're going to throw the ball to him, you're at least going to get at least 10, okay, if you're going to pass it to him. That's just the type of receiver he is, and that's the type of player he is. Now, granted, coming into the NFL, like I said, you don't know. Nobody knows. That's just the thing. But this is a very good pick. I think as much as what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if this is going to keep him there because that fire might have burned out and it's over now. But who knows? If it works out, it works out. And I think Aaron Rodgers got himself a very, very solid receiver to put next to Devontae Adams. Now, in round 4, there was a couple good picks, not a handful. I mean, the Jaguars ended up drafting Jay Tufili with that first pick in that 4th round. I'm kind of really surprised he slipped this far, being just of how, he's really good, okay? Now, one thing, I think the reason he slipped too far was mainly because he's way too quick. He likes to get sloppy. I think he wants to be the quickest guy or the first guy off the line, and I think that's going to be troublesome in his career. He's going to end up slipping a lot. I watched one. He did get a sack on it, but he did slip. So that is probably why he slipped so far down. But, 65 tackles, 7.5 sacks, and then he also returned a fumble for a touchdown. So he obviously can do some stuff. He only stands 6'3", 305 pounds, but the one thing that he's good at, okay, is he does shed blocks really well, and he knows where the quarterback and running backs are at all times. He's always aware of, okay, I need to get here, and if they run by me, I got to quick get off this block and make that tackle. And I think that's what he's really good at, and I think that's what he excels at. But another thing that he's really good at, do not give this man any time to get past the line. I'm telling you, if you give him any more than 3.5 seconds, you are screwed as a quarterback. I don't care who you are. You could be the quickest man. You could be Kyler Murray. You could be Lamar Jackson. He's going to get you if you give this guy way too much time, especially if he comes from your blind side. I'm telling you, he's going to be a train. He's going to hit you, and he's going to hit you hard. So that's really the main thing on Jay Tufili is the Jags got a really good defensive tackle here late in the draft too. So we'll see how that kind of works out. But going back to the wide receivers, another one that actually really, really surprised he slipped. Now, this is a really good pick. I was hoping the Packers were going to take him since they already have his brother, but Amon-Ra St. Brown from USC went to the Lions. Okay, now, obviously he is named after an Egyptian god, Amon-Ra, but with that comes a lot of great responsibilities, but he's also trying to make a name for himself, obviously. He's like, nah, I'm the better Amon-Ra. I'm the dude. That guy, long gone. How did he do? Stuff like that. But 6'1", 195 pounds, 2,270 yards, 16 touchdowns, dude. Perfect fit for the Lions. Okay, big, explosive, not afraid, has a motor. Okay, perfect. Just a perfect fit. I'm telling you right now, this guy, watching film, 1v1 or even 1v2, I got Amon-Ra all day long. This guy, if he brings the same intensity and that same play style of the NFL, I'm telling you, nobody's going to be able to defend him. Nobody. You know who he reminds me of? And it might be a little far-fetched, but go watch the tape, and I guarantee you might think a little bit of the same, but Calvin Johnson. Megatron. Yeah, this dude might not be as big, but he plays like he is that big. Okay? When I say he's named after an Egyptian god, he brings that intensity, really. He does. He makes sure that you know that his name is Amon-Ra. Okay? Very, very solid receiver. Dude goes up and gets the ball. He doesn't give that corner a chance to pick it off. He's going to go up and make sure he touches it first, whether you're going to knock it out or not. You're not picking the ball off. He's going to go up and try to make sure that does not happen. He's very strong, has really, really good route running skills. He can slip past defenders barely. He has just enough speed where he's going to get at least a foot ahead of corners, or they're going to be neck and neck, where that's why he goes up and gets the ball, because he knows he barely gets by him to where that he's going to have to go up and make sure he can make a play on that ball. And that's where he's excelled at, and that's why he got to the NFL. Now, granted, he did slip to the 4th round, but he's going to be a perfect fit for the Lions, especially with Jared Goff finally coming there after they traded Matthew Stafford. I wish Matthew was there for Amon-Ra, but Jared Goff would be just fine with him. But the Lions don't have really, they got a couple solid receivers. Like Marvin Jones is good. I can't remember if he left or not, but off the top of my head. But still, really good for the Lions. They need these pieces. They also got Penny Sewell, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Offensive line, who's going to help the Lions tremendously, help protect Jared Goff a little longer. Lions needed that. I don't think they're really going to make a run in the NFC North quite yet. They could in the future, depending on the drafts. But Amon-Ra, hell yeah, good pick, very good pick. Can't believe he slipped this round. Dude is phenomenal. Okay, another guy, Jabril Cox, Cowboys. This guy slipped. I'm surprised. He might have slipped because he did play his first 3 years at NDSU, and then he did transfer to LSU, where he actually started all last season and played phenomenal. 58 tackles, 5 pass deflections, 1 sack, 9 interceptions. He did have most of those in his first 3 years with NDSU, but he also has 3 touchdowns. So if he picks the ball off, the dude has great vision, is able to move down the field and get there. This is a great addition to add to Leighton Vander Esch of the Cowboys. Really, I don't know a whole lot about Jabril besides, when I was watching, his zone defense is really where he excels. He can be just fine on man-to-man because he is quick and he is small. He has really quick on his feet. But I think zone is where he excels. He's able to read and get to his spot and really make plays on the ball. And I think that's why he's able to, get these interceptions, return them for touchdowns and stuff like that. But he also just flies the ball. And I'm telling you, he hits like a semi. As soon as he comes and he sees that you have the ball, he's hitting you with no mercy. No questions asked. He's going to lay you on your ass, just like that. And that is, he kind of reminds me of a Justin Simmons, okay? And he can also play nickelback if needed. Now, I think Justin Simmons doesn't have quite the motor as Jabril Cox has, being that he was FBS before FCS football, or FCS before, I can't remember what, they should just say, I don't even know how they should do that, but it's confusing sometimes. But still, I think he just has a little bit bigger motor that'll help him succeed. Now, we go to the 5th round, and finally someone decides, hey, we need a kicker. And you know who that was? That was the Bengals. The Bengals we kind of need a kicker, screw everything else. Granted, they did get the pieces they somewhat needed. I didn't think they should have took Jalen Waddell, or was it Jalen Waddell? I think it was Jamar Chase. I don't think they should have taken Jamar Chase right away. Granted, he did play with Joe Burrow, and that's a good fit and good chemistry right there, right off the bat. But They should have went offensive line. They should have got somebody that they actually needed to protect Joe Burrow, because we all seen that gruesome injury that made you want to like puke. Oh, it was nasty. When I heard he got hurt and I watched the video, it was not pleasant to say the least. But hey, it is what it is. But anyways, they take the first kicker off the board, and the only kicker I'm pretty sure from Florida, Evan McPherson. If you haven't heard of him, number one ranked kicker coming out of high school, probably the number one ranked kicker coming out of college. Dude was awesome. He had 89.5% of field goals both his freshman and sophomore year. His junior year, he went 17 for 22, which is about 0.3%. But he's perfect on extra points, going 52. But his career percentage kicking field goals is 85%. Okay, now another thing that kind of intrigued me. Now I watched a little film. I wanted to see kind of how this guy, he got the job done. But he went out there and kind of surprised me, to say the least. One thing that really caught my eye was, when it's like the last drive and you're down like 2 points, but you need a field goal to win, and you're like, they need to get to this line to kick a field goal. That little green line or red line, whatever it is, they need to get to that line. Well, for him, they placed that line at the 45-yard line, okay? That's the equivalent to a 62-yard field goal. This dude, that's his placement, 62 yards. That means it can only grow. What, you want him to kick a 65-yard field goal and the wind's coming from his back? Because I bet you he can get it done. I bet you he can do it. That is just ridiculous. And I think the Bengals actually took this guy because they need those extra points. Okay, they're in the division with the Browns, who are absolutely redonkulous right now. They're going nuts. They're going all in on everything. Then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got old Big Ben over there, but that's kind of the offense is going to be a little sketchy. There's something going on in that locker room that I don't know. I haven't heard much this offseason, but I'm sure we'll hear it again. We've heard it the last 3-4 years now. So we'll see what happens there. But then they also got the Ravens. Okay, Lamar Jackson. We all know what that dude's been doing. So I think the Bengals are like, hey, we just need, try to stay in some games. If we need to kick, we need to kick. And this is a very, very good pick, and this is a very solid chance for them to put points on the board. And I hope he excels, because we all know how fast kickers can come in and come out of the league. So good pick for this guy. I mean, this guy has an absolute bomb as a leg. So, I mean, the only downfall is that he mainly misses right when he does miss, but I think that can be fixed, obviously. But hey, that's all that it really takes to kind of be good. So I think the Bengals got a really good one with that. So now, enough with that draft shenanigans, because I was going to do round 6 and 7 and talk about them, but nobody knows who the hell they really are. And frankly, I could give a shit less. So not to be mean to those guys or anything, but hey, if they excel and play really good and they start becoming something, yeah, I'll talk about them. Maybe I'll watch them here and there, see what they got going on. But majority of the 6 touchdowns and touchdown-interception ratio, passer rating, and he also won the MVP. No shit you want him to be your quarterback. I'm pretty sure 31 other teams want him to be their quarterback as well, unless you're, obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you got Tom Brady or the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to pass that up at all, okay? But then you kind of start digging into it, and there's a couple main reasons that he wants that. One, that Jordan Love draft. They traded up to get Jordan Love. They didn't even trade up to go get a wide receiver like they should have, because, they're a bunch of I'll keep that comment to myself. It's just stupid, okay? But then you go and you look more. He actually asked for a contract extension. He wants more money. You see these quarterbacks around the league getting money, while Aaron Rodgers wants to be, hey, give me my last contract. This is probably it. Give it to me for 2 or 3 years. Give me that money, and then we'll be done. Hasn't gotten done at all. Actually, no conversations. They sent him an offer. Wasn't big enough, I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've seen. And he said, hell no, I don't want that fucking low money. I want to be paid $100-some fucking million or whatever the hell it was. And he wants to be that top dog in Green Bay, and I don't blame him. The dude is a 3-time MVP, I'm pretty sure. So you got to give him what he wants, okay? Or get him the hell out of there, because you're not going to win if you have a pissed off Aaron. Okay, never mind. I take that back. You're gonna win regardless if you have a pissed off Aaron Rodgers and he does play. But no, another thing after that. Okay, after the contract extension, he also told him, hey, I want to be more involved in the personnel decisions. Okay, I want to know who we're getting and why we're getting them and who we're letting go and why we're letting them go. I want to know all these, the ins and outs. And well, he wasn't involved in anything because obviously they went and got Jordan Love and all these guys. Well, that kind of does not help. Okay. But really, what this kind of took flight when he said, I don't want to be here, I want Brian Gutekunst out, is when Rodgers actually praised this wide receiver, Jake Kumaro. Now, granted, he wasn't that prominent, but apparently Rodgers really liked this guy. And I'm pretty sure it's because he was actually a guy that got open if he wasn't open and when Rodgers was scrambling, and Rodgers gets pissed when wide receivers just stand there with their thumbs up their butts, don't do nothing, obviously. Devontae Adams is the only guy who does that. And he got pissed. Robert Tonyan started doing that at the end. He was really good at it, and I think that helped. But I think that after he praised him, a day after he praised this wide receiver, the Packers go out and they release him the next day. And he praised this wide receiver. Aaron Rodgers praised this wide receiver publicly in front of everybody. Let them know. And the Green Bay Packers GM was like, hell no. This guy fucking garbage. Get him out of here. I don't want him. Rodgers was like, okay, fuck me then. So, like, you're doing this dude wrong. The guy's been there for 16 seasons. Won you one Super Bowl. 3 MVPs. What else do you want him to do? You're consistently winning. He wants weapons and they're not giving him fucking weapons. They went in there, the 3rd round or 4th round, whatever it was, and they got Amari Rodgers, who could be good, but who could also be a major, major bust. Why the hell did you not try to trade up and get a receiver? Or why the hell didn't you take a receiver last year when you knew Jordan Love wasn't going to play a single goddamn snap all last year? Because you know what? He didn't. They had their backup. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he played. So, now if Rodgers wants out and they don't fire Brian and he says, trade me or I won't play and they have to trade him, one destination that I've been hearing and actually makes a whole lot of sense is the Denver Broncos. And it's very possible and it's very likely. If it happens, I'm saying. Okay, you got to think. The reason this is such a good fit, okay, you look at the Denver wide receivers. They got Cortland Sutton, who was hurt most of the year, but he's going to come back, probably have a good year. You got KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, who is going to have that breakout second year. Hopefully, year one, he had garbage quarterbacks to throw to him. Then you got Tim Patrick, who's up in the wind about things. And then, Noah Fant at that tight end position, who's actually pretty solid and is going to be probably top 15, top 10 tight end in the league. So then you go look at their offensive line. You got Garrett Bowles, Dalton Reisner, Lloyd Cushenberry III, Graham Glasgow, and Jawan James. There's a lot of young faces and veteran faces, guys who've been there, done that, and they know how to get the job done. Okay, they also went and got depth at the offensive line, drafting Quinn Merez, who is really, really good. From what I hear anyways, don't really know too much about him, but they're ready, okay? They are ready to roll, and I think that's a big team and a good team for Rodgers if he ends up leaving. Now, another team that's up in air is the Raiders, I've heard, but expect Denver to be one of the front runners kind of for that. But so we're going to kind of go off of that Aaron Rodgers stuff, but we're going to talk about the Browns. Okay, they're really loading up this year. Okay, you got Baker, who's kind of starting to grow up a little bit, be that man of that team. You got a perfect backfield in Chubb and Hunt. And then you got an absolutely stacked wide receiver core. You got OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, and you got tight ends Austin Hooper, Harris Bryant, David Njoku. You got an offensive line with Jedrick Wills, Joel Bettino, G.C. Treader, Wyatt Teller, and Jack Conklin. And defensively, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clown, all these guys, they are set up so nicely. The first year it happened, obviously didn't work. I think it was too much, too fast. They couldn't handle it, especially with a rookie quarterback. I understand that. But last year we started seeing the puzzle pieces kind of, connect, kind of come together. And that can be scary. That can be very scary. The Browns are going to put up a fight for that division this year. Okay? Now, the Browns defensively, they needed cornerback and linebacker help after, having somewhat of a good offseason. Okay? And they went and they drafted a cornerback in the first round, Greg Newsome II. Now, I don't really know too much about him. This is another guy I thought Asante Samuel Jr. should have gone ahead of. I think the Browns should have probably taken him instead. But hey, who knows? This guy could be an absolute stud in the near future. But for right now, what I think this guy gives is he gives him more depth because you got Greedy Williams, Grant Delpit. They have a decent amount of cornerbacks there and a lot of good ones. Joe Johnson came over from the Rams too in the free agency. So, so they got their corner help. Now they wanted a linebacker. Well, guess what? They go and they get a steal. Okay, they go get the steal of the draft probably. Yeah, I know I said that earlier, but I think this one was a big one. They got linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah or whatever in round 2, okay, from Notre Dame. This dude is probably for sure top 3 linebacker that came in this draft. Okay, the only reason, actually I heard a couple hours before I started the show was that a lot of people speculate the reason he dropped in the second round or to the second round was because I guess they found a heart condition or something like that popped up, but it wasn't too worrisome. I think they're going to have it all figured out and get that underway, which I hope so because I mean this dude's an absolute steal. He's a stud. He goes out there and performs nicely. I mean 2 years at Notre Dame, 134 tackles, 7 pass deflections, 10 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and an interception. 2 years at a top 5, top 10 school. He did all that. That's a guy you want on your team. That's an absolute steal in the second round. Should have went first round. Because of that heart condition, if that's the reason that he dropped, wow, that sucks. But at the same time, I think you have to be willing to take that risk. You have to. I know it's a lot of money, but you're missing out on a really good guy. Now, granted, there's probably teams that didn't need him, but there were. Okay, Micah Parsons went. Obviously, that was a good pick. I think he was the best one in this draft. Probably won't end up being the best, but Jeremiah, this is a very, very good steal that they had. And then, obviously they end up going later rounds, getting another linebacker, Twin Fields, and then they get a safety to add more depth, and Richard LeConte the third. So, and those guys were drafted in round 5. But the Browns are looking to kind of be scary this upcoming season, and don't count them out because honestly, they're going to cause some damage, okay? I think it's going to be probably Bengals last, Steelers second to last, Ravens third, and probably Browns first if I have to look at it. I haven't looked at the schedules quite yet. I believe they actually drop Wednesday, if I'm correct. If not Wednesday, they drop on the 12th, Wednesday the 12th. So it's either the 5th or the 12th. I can look that up here once I get off and I can talk about that more tomorrow and give you guys some more insight on that. So with all that being said, I think we're going to call it quits for the day. Now, we talked obviously about a lot of stuff like the draft and some more news, but hey, that's just the beginning. Okay, we got plenty of more shit to go through. This offseason was incredible. I think we're going to start getting around to that offseason news starting tomorrow and kind of go throughout the week and kind of fill you guys in so you guys don't just have to look at my pictures and kind of read that, because I think we're going to be done with all those pictures and stuff. We're just going to do these live stuff or you do the show. But hey, like I said, we got plenty more in the future, and we've only just begun. So thanks for tuning in. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, and you just got your fix with the Wicks. Thank you guys for coming along.